The apartment was small, a one-bedroom on the 5th floor of a crumbling brick building in a part of town where the streetlights flickered and the air smelled faintly of rust and damp concrete. I moved in because it was cheap, and I was desperate. Fresh out of college, jobless, with a bank account that mocked me every time I checked it. The landlord, a wiry man with yellowed teeth, handed me the keys and muttered something about the previous tenant leaving in a hurry. I didn't ask questions. I should have. The first few days were uneventful. I unpacked my meager belongings, a few boxes of clothes, some books, and a coffee maker that sputtered like it was on its last legs. The apartment was old, with creaky wooden floors and walls that seemed to sigh when the wind pressed against them. The windows were cloudy with age, and the radiator hissed like it was arguing with itself. But it was mine, and that was enough. On the third night, I noticed the loose floorboard. I was pacing the living room, trying to shake off the unease of being alone in a new place, when my foot caught on a slight ridge. The board wobbled under my weight. Curious, I knelt down and pried it up with my fingernails. It came loose with a groan, revealing a small, dusty compartment beneath. Inside was a box, rusted, dented, no bigger than a shoebox, with a latch that looked like it hadn't been touched in decades. I hesitated, my fingers hovering over it. Something about it felt wrong, like it was watching me. But curiosity won out. The latch was stubborn, but it gave way with a screech. Inside was a jumble of oddities, a cracked porcelain doll's head, its painted eyes chipped and staring, a bundle of yellowed letters tied with twine, the ink too faded to read, and a small tarnished mirror, its surface clouded but oddly reflective. I held the mirror up, and for a split second, I swore my reflection blinked. I laughed it off, blaming the dim light and my tired eyes. I shoved the box under my bed, telling myself I'd deal with it later. That night, I couldn't sleep. The radiator's hissing had turned rhythmic, almost like breathing. I lay there staring at the ceiling, convinced I heard footsteps in the living room. Not loud, not distinct, just soft, deliberate taps, like someone tiptoeing across the floor. I checked every corner of the apartment, flashlight in hand, but found nothing. The floorboard was still in place, the box undisturbed. I told myself it was the building settling, or maybe the neighbors upstairs. Old buildings make noises, right? The next morning, I found the box on my kitchen counter. I froze, my coffee mug halfway to my lips. I hadn't touched it. I hadn't even gone near my bed since the night before. My heart thudded as I opened it again, half expecting something to leap out. Everything was there. The doll's head, the letters, the mirror. But the mirror was face up now, and when I looked into it, my reflection seemed off. The eyes were too wide, the mouth too tight, like it was trying to tell me something. I slammed the box shut and shoved it back under the bed, nailing the floorboard down for good measure. That's when the weird things started. At first, it was small objects out of place, like my keys in the fridge or my toothbrush in the living room. I'd hear whispers when I was alone, faint and garbled, like a radio tuned to a dead station. I'd catch glimpses of movement in my peripheral vision, but when I turned, nothing was there. I stopped sleeping. The footsteps came every night now, pacing the living room, circling my bed. I'd lie there, clutching my blanket, telling myself it was just my imagination. But the air felt heavier, like it was pressing down on me, and the shadows seemed to move when I wasn't looking. I started avoiding the apartment. I'd spend hours at the library or wandering the streets, anything to delay going back. But I couldn't stay away forever. One night, I came home to find the floorboard pried up again, the nails scattered across the room. The box was open on my bed, the mirror propped against my pillow. I grabbed it, ready to smash it, but my reflection stopped me. It wasn't me. The face was mine, but the expression, smirking, cruel, eyes glinting with something I couldn't name. I dropped the mirror and it cracked, the sound echoing like a gunshot. The whispers grew louder, a chorus of voices now, chanting words I couldn't understand. I called my friend Sarah, begging her to come over. She found me curled up in the corner, babbling about the box and the mirror. She said I looked like I hadn't slept in weeks, my eyes bloodshot, my hands trembling. She stayed the night, but even with her there, I heard the footsteps, saw the shadows twist. Sarah didn't hear or see anything. She told me I was stressed. The next day, I tried to throw the box out. I carried it to the dumpster behind the building, but when I got back to my apartment, it was on my kitchen counter again. I screamed, hurling it against the wall. The doll's head shattered, the letters scattered, but the mirror was untouched. I grabbed a hammer and smashed it, over and over, until it was nothing but shards. But that night, I woke up to find the mirror whole again, sitting on my nightstand. My reflection was laughing. I stopped leaving the apartment. I couldn't trust what I saw or heard anymore. The whispers were constant now, overlapping, screaming, begging. The footsteps never stopped, circling, closing in. I'd see faces in the windows, in the walls, in the grain of the wood. My reflection followed me everywhere, in the bathroom mirror, the TV screen, even the polished surface of my coffee maker. It wasn't me, it was her, whoever she was, with her sharp smile and hollow eyes. I called my landlord, demanding to know about the previous tenant. He was cagey, said she'd been troubled, left in the middle of the night. I pressed him, and he admitted she'd been found screaming in the street, claiming something in the apartment was after her. They took her away, he said, to a hospital. I hung up, my hands shaking so badly I dropped the phone. I tried to destroy the box again. I burned the letters, crushed the doll's head into dust, but the mirror wouldn't break. I threw it into the river, watched it sink, but it was back in my apartment by morning, gleaming like it was brand new. The voices were deafening now, a cacophony that drowned out my thoughts. I stopped eating, stopped answering my phone. Sarah came by, pounding on the door, but I couldn't let her in. I didn't know what was real anymore. One night, I woke up to find myself standing in the living room, holding the mirror. I don't remember getting out of bed. My reflection was speaking, lips moving in time with the whispers. It told me things, horrible things, about the apartment, the box, the girl who lived here before. She'd found the box too, it said. She'd looked into the mirror and seen what I saw. She'd tried to fight it, but it took her, piece by piece, until there was nothing left but screams. I don't know how long I stood there listening. Hours, maybe days. The world blurred and all I could see was her face. My face, but not mine. I clawed at my skin, trying to tear her out, but the voices only laughed. I smashed every mirror in the apartment, but she was still there, in every reflective surface, waiting. They found me in the street, screaming about the box, the mirror, the girl who wasn't me. I don't remember how I got there. The police came, then the paramedics. They strapped me to a gurney, their faces blurring into hers. I begged them to burn the box, to seal the apartment, but they just looked at me with pity. They said I was sick, that I needed help. They took me to a place with white walls and locked doors, where the lights never dim and the air smells like antiseptic. I'm here now, in this room with no mirrors, no reflections, but I can still hear the whispers, faint but persistent, like they're coming from inside my skull. The doctors say I'm improving, that the medication is working, but they don't understand. She's still here, inside me, waiting. I see her in the shine of the metal bed frame, in the gloss of the clipboard the nurses carry. I tried to tell them about the box, but they just nod and write things down. I don't know if I'm insane. Maybe I was always broken, and the box just showed me the truth. Or maybe it's still in that apartment, waiting for someone else to find it, to look into the mirror and see her smile. All I know is that I'm not alone in here. She's with me always, and I don't think she'll ever let me go.